All right. Welcome everybody to Ignite Your Wild. Crist here from Costa Rica. I'm going to give a few minutes to see what else is joining us. I've created Ignite Your Wild inspired by the fact that I've been living here in Costa Rica for the last 2 years. The presence of animals is really, hey, Kimberling, welcome. Thanks for being here. I want to say that although I can't see you guys, it's not like Zoom, I can see you. I still want to say that if you're in Facebook, you can drop in some comments and I will see the comments. So if you have any questions or you want to add something, you want to offer ideas, please feel free. I would like to make this an interactive place, a place that we can interact. So for those of you who I see are jumping in now, welcome. Crist here from Costa Rica. I am the founder of the Jaguar Path, and I have been working very closely with the shamans of Peru for the last 16 years. In my studies with the shamans, in my apprenticeship with the shamans, one of the most wild things that I found and I love was the study of animals. The understanding that it's great to be a student of people, but one thing we in the Western world have missed out on is that we have not become students of animals. Animals, most of them, a lot of them, have been here on the planet longer than us. And while for all these centuries, I feel we have been bragging that we're saying, this was the sense that I grew up with, right? And in the 70s and 80s, that people, humans have consciousness and animals do not. And working closer with the shamans, I'm beginning to see that it's apparent that the opposite is true. And the place that you see it everywhere, in every action, and in the way that humans live versus the way that animals live. One thing that is fascinating that I found out about animals, and I'm continuing to learn, but especially in the jungles of Peru and the jungles here of Costa Rica, one of the things that I've learned is that animals, with every action they do, every time they're doing something, that action is rejuvenating, lots of love to you, is rejuvenating life itself, is regenerating life itself. So we may be afraid of animals, and that was our original petty, small way and small vision that we had. And you have these men of power in Europe in the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, and I feel I come back to that because there's a significant shift of where reality of the existence of the planet has come to. And that wrong turn was obviously a wrong turn, clearly a wrong turn, was in the Middle Ages, and it was established by people of power, either in politics or in religion. The big statement, humans are the favorite creation of God, came out of the church. And with that power, then, of course, the people in politics, the kings and queens, and those who reigned upon the populace, said, well, yes, and even more favored than all human beings are the kings and the queens. This came along with a whole list of persecutions: persecution of the feminine, of women, the persecution of animals, and the persecution of magic. So, we hear sometimes the witch hunt. The witch hunt was, on one hand, a witch hunt, which was essentially the persecution of magic, and the persecution, even more specifically, so we understand what we're talking about here, is that it was a persecution of you and I and every one of us that's here today. We were persecuted if we would seek direct relationship with the divine. So if you would not go through a church, you would not go through through specific channels to find God, you would be persecuted immediately. The biggest part also, though, of the persecution here was a direct attack to women. Women are glorious. I come from a matriarch family. My grandmother survived 3 wars, the 2 First World Wars, and 4 wars, and she also survived the Turks kicking out the Greek population out of Turkey in 1902 and 1921. And then they moved to Athens in the refugee camp, which became a refugee neighborhood, which is where eventually, when I was born, some 60 years later after that, or 50 years later after that, I grew up in this refugee neighborhood outside of Athens, and in dirt roads with a lot of cats and a lot of dogs. And I see that now also too, here living in a third world country in Costa Rica. There's a lot of cats and a lot of dogs that they're the closest, and it's cats and dogs really help people survive. The cats clean the inside of the house and dogs protect the outside of the house. They have an absolute functional purpose, and their relationship is that of an ally. And they also become part of the family. Obviously, if you have a cat or a dog, you already know that dogs and cats quickly share their personality, and they have a charisma. Hey, hello from the UK. Welcome. Thanks for being up so late. So the cats and dogs have, all animals really, have this absolute charisma to making us find sweetness inside us, and to open that can of love and bring it out. So we're living in a moment. Ignite Your Wild. Welcome to those of you who are dropping in right now. Ignite Your Wild is a multifaceted idea. And for those of you who have been with me since the beginning, it just started as an idea. The inspiration was from a place of me sitting in a river that's right close by to our house here, again in the jungle of Costa Rica. And we're living in the north. And traveling a lot down south, which I will be talking about as we're moving that direction and learning more about the animals. Costa Rica is the most biodiverse place of the planet right now. And Ignite Your Wild, this is what I hope to become. And it depends on you guys too. Few of you that are coming now, please share. We are going to become richer and richer in the material. I will offer more and more material through here that can be fun, it can be educational, it can be inspirational, and it can be awakening. It can be awakening. Again, I am creating a revolution against the dark ages. I know it's kind of late, but it's not too late for all of us, because I feel the devastation of the planet and the wrong turn we took happened in the Middle Ages. So the persecution of women, animals, and magic has changed our reality and the way we look at it. Some of you that know me, I am a Pampo Messiah and an Alto Messiah and a Kerak Alukek. And I have been initiated in the last 16 years that I've been working closely with the Q'ero Nations people, the shamans of the Andes, as well as with the Shipibo, the shamans of the tribes in the jungle of Peru, in the south of Peru. I've spent a lot of time in the jungle. I've spent a lot of time watching animals and learning. And I've spent a lot of time with my teachers, teaching me, sharing with me the wisdom, the tradition, and the teachings of each animal. I bring this up now in relationship to what I was just saying, because what happened is when the Spanish Inquisition came along, it really started this huge campaign that was a campaign of like no other prior to that, of deciding to really create a mindset, control and create a mindset for the peasants. And we are the peasants. I mean, if you're not into politics and if you're not a multimillionaire or billionaire, then you're the peasants. We are the peasants. So what has been created is this idea that is void of the power of women, void of the power of animals, and void of the power of magic. So I say that I've studied and I've become really close to their family, to me, with the Quero Nations people, Don Francisco Flores, his wife, Dona Juana, Don Sebastian. Many of you may have met through me and with me in the last decade or more that I've been bringing them to the United States. And more shamans. What's the relationship? The relationship is this, that when the conquistadors arrived in Peru in the Sacred Valley, and they were ready to take over, which they did, the Queros saw this, and they were wise enough and rattled and saw that these people, right, Pizarro and his men in 1534, if I remember the year correctly, they would really clear out the culture, the tradition, and they would throw their campaign into making all peasants of the world have a big hole in their heart, which is essentially the seat, the place of the feminine, the place of animals, and the place of magic. So love, the feminine that gives birth, that offers love, that offers nourishment, animals that offer ways of being, offer humor, offer affection, offer so much healing, and of course magic, your magic and my magic, or our relationship, your relationship and my relationship with the divine directly, are three pillars of existence, three pillars that can really allow us to grow in our full potential. I've been working and doing shamanic healing sessions with people and teaching people how to offer shamanic sessions through the Jaguar path for more than 13 years right now. We have hundreds of graduates, and I have worked with hundreds, probably with thousands, I should say correctly, of people. And no matter what, people come to me and they break down, they're crying and they're hurting, or they're feeling something that's really overwhelming in life. I look at it and I know it, and I've seen enough people to know and say for sure that what I see is that they lack that what we lack is that power that we can get to feel the respect for the feminine, for women, the nourishment, the way of thinking, when we have more than just respect for women. I feel that they lack the metaphor, if anything, the metaphor of how animals work and how animals rather behave, and how animals live and navigate life. And I see people crying in my office and trying to figure out life. And I said, well, if you know how a wolf would handle this, you wouldn't be sitting here crying. If you know how a jaguar moves, or how a lion moves, if you know how a coyote or a lizard or a butterfly or caterpillar, or how you'd have so much more knowledge in your mind, and you would navigate the situation, maybe a divorce, or losing your job, or losing a friend, or having loss of your family. So my teachers left the Sacred Valley when they saw the Spaniards come in, and they went up to the mountains, and they hid up in the mountains for 500 years. And they are coming out for almost 500 years, and they've come down now in the late 60s, excuse me, and especially even more now. And through the internet and through me and other modern people that are offered this awesome opportunity that they have given me, they have asked me to teach, and they've asked me to share. I want to say one thing about the Queros and about Don Francisco, and the whole idea is that, what did these people protect by being 500 years in the top of the Andes at 16 to 18,000 feet? This is tremendously difficult life up there, right? And they continue to live up there as they did in the 1500s or 1000 BC or 500 BC. Nothing's changed in the last 2,000 years up there. You get some stones, you get some pieces of wood, you create a roof, and you live in it. Nothing has changed. So what did they really protect by hiding for 500 years? They protected their language, they protected their ways of being, and they protected the respect for women, animals, and magic. What I mean about them protecting their language is that they protected, and they still have a language that has not been intimidated to change as far as the values go of how women should be respected. We took a dive from the Spanish Inquisition down. We took a dive. I mean, women came up to, in the 1770, there was some movement, and the Church of Rome, the Church of England and France got together and they said, let's vote if animals and women have a soul. I know I shared this last time. I think I'm going to share it every time because I think that these men of power are still the same men in power and still have the same mentality. It's a poor mentality that leads to the destruction of our planet and our ecosystems. Yet, I want to make sure that what I am here to share is the sweetness and the beauty of the animals, right? And what we can receive from them. So what I would like to say, thank you, Kimberly, for your question. With the intention for changing, go back and heal the past, or would that be something intentional journey work would need to be used? Very awesome shamanic question. We're moving in leaps and bounds right now, and what we need to do and heal is heal the present, and what we really need to do is really pause the logic that is in place, which creates all this industry, and we need to act on a really materialistic level and not spiritual, because it is in the materialistic level which we have reached levels of insanity. Amazon is a level of insanity. Amazon and what is called Jeff Bezos. If you ever hear this, you should give at least 1% a day back to the Amazon jungle, which you're just by use of the name alone. Where's the copyright? Who told Jeff Bezos that he can take that name and use it to do exactly the opposite? Cut all the trees to make boxes to send to us plastic things. So we need to our resolution is to make some personal. What I really hope to share with you guys here is how to change some things on a personal level. And yes, Sheila, they've been protected. Thank you, Sheila. And Sheila was here with my beloved, with the elders, Don Francisco and Juanita and Don Wilbert, just not only 3 weeks ago here in Costa Rica, where they gave the blessings to the land, they gave the blessings to our place here, and they taught us even more because they have protected exactly that. Like Sheila says, they have protected the knowledge, they have protected the ancient knowledge and the holistic way of living. Holistic way of living now is not just a different way of living, but rather is important for our survival as humanity. So let's celebrate women, let's celebrate animals, and let's celebrate our magic. It was an amazing experience to meet them, wasn't it, Sheila? It was Sheila. It was really awesome to have you here with them. Don Francisco is the elder and essentially, in many ways, the chief of the Queros, or at least of a part of the Quero Nation's people. And Dona Juana is just absolutely beautiful. His wife just brings all of that sweetness. Today, I have prepared for us a few poems. I'm going to read my favorite poem again. I know I read it last time, and I'm sorry I can't help it because it is my favorite poem. Let's see here. What do I got? It is my favorite poem because it is my favorite poem, and also was the favorite my late father's favorite poem. So I'm going to reading it to you guys and reading it to my father also, who may be listening from up there. Yeah, so thanks, Dad, for turning me on to this, and thanks for being such a beautiful human being and loving animals and so much. So here we go. Here's our poetry for today. Just a few poems. The first poem is William Blake. The other 1, 2, 3, 4 poems are from Hafiz, the Sufi master Hafiz. So William Blake on the Tyger. Tyger, Tyger, burning bright in the forests of the night. What immortal hand or eye could frame your fearful symmetry. In what distant deeps or skies burneth the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer, what the chain, in what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp dare its deadly terror clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heavens with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tyger, Tyger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? Tyger, Tyger from William Blake. Tigers are like a flame. Tigers are like so much more powerful than human beings, so much more eloquent and so much more real. Their power is amazing. Their beauty, their way of being is amazing. And thank you, William Blake, for that. And if you ask me if I was God and I had a favorite, it's like asking a parent of 100 kids, which is one of your favorite. All our kids are our kids. All our kids. So here's another one of Hafiz. And this poem of Hafiz dares or touches rather the subject of like the reality of beauty of life is like if you turn the world upside down and you could gently turn it upside down and watch all the gentle, soft animals fall on your lap. And I just love that line and how it describes the gentleness and sweetness of animals and how they are truly the beauty of life itself. So it calls upon you and me, the wayfarer. You should come close to me tonight, wayfarer, for I will be celebrating you. Your beauty still causes me madness, keeps the neighbors complaining when I start shouting in the middle of the night because I can't bear all this joy. I will be giving birth to sons. I will be holding forests upside down, gently shaking soft animals from trees and burrows into my lap. What you conceive as imagination does not exist for me. Whatever you can do in a dream or on your mind's canvas, my hands can pull alive from my coat's pockets. But let's not talk about my divine world, for what I most want to know tonight is all about you. Hafiz, a Sufi poet, lived in the late 1200s, early 1300s, right, from Persia. This one's on two bears. Once, after a hard day forage, two bears sat together in silence on a beautiful vista, watching the sun go down and feeling deeply grateful for life. Though after a while, a thought-provoking conversation began, which turned to a topic of fame. The one bear said, "Did you hear about Rastman? He has become famous and travels from city to city in a golden cage. He performs for hundreds of people who laugh and applaud his carnival stunts." The other bear thought for a few seconds, then started weeping. Just give a moment for Rastam. Rastam was a famous bear in Persia who was in a cage and would go from village to village. And I even remember stories from my grandmother is very common. And even in my childhood, actually, I remember in our neighborhood, this guy with a bear who was with a chain and the unfortunate misuse and abuse, rather, of animals. So here's a funny one. Here's a funny one from Hafiz, just to bring our our spirits up. Why? And this has to do with us people, and it has to do with how we behave with each other, and what qualities we can really bring in, and what qualities we actually do. Why just ask the donkey in me to speak to the donkey in you, when I have so many other beautiful animals and brilliant colored birds inside? They are all longing to say something wonderful and exciting to your heart. Let's open all those locked doors upon our eyes that keep us from knowing the intelligence that begets love and a more lively and satisfying conversation with the friend. Let's turn loose our golden falcons so that they can meet in the sky where our spirits belong, necking like two hot kids. Let's hold hands and get drunk near the sun and sing sweet songs to God until he joins us with a few notes from his own sublime lute and drum. If you have a better idea of how to pass a lonely night, after your glands may have performed all the little magic, then speak up, sweetheart, speak up, for Hafiz and all the world will listen. Why just bring your donkey to me, asking for stale hay and boring conference with an idiot in regards to precious matter, such as matters as the heart, when I have so many divine animals and brilliantly colored birds inside that are all longing to so sweetly greet you? So I was having a conversation with Nina, my wife, for those of you who don't know, and she was saying that we should be kind of like breaking down the poems. So I'm just going to quickly just say to this, because if you're not acquainted and not familiar with Hafiz, maybe this poem went by too fast and some things flew by. And I've been reading Hafiz for 30 years now. I've been reading this poem for 30 years now. And Hafiz, this book is called The Gift from Hafiz, the Sufi master Hafiz. I'm pretty sure one can find it in Amazon. Or if there's any bookstore left, order it from your neighborhood and walk there to get it. And don't ask for a bag. All those will be excellent things and will prolong your life and the planet's life. So Hafiz talks about that, talks about where we're coming from. And he's not making fun of the donkey, but he the donkey also in English is called the ass, and it's just kind of like a behavior of being stubborn and not changing patterns, and that's what he's referring to here. So the donkey doesn't change patterns, is just not well mannered, and that's what's happening in life, and that's what's happening in the world, in our neighborhoods and in our countries. These wars are like behaving like an ass, to say the least, and to keep our humor. So why just ask the donkey in me to speak to the donkey in you, when I have so many other beautiful animals and brilliant colored birds inside that are all longing to say something wonderful and exciting to your heart? And that is a choice. Sufism is a really deep study of God, of love, and is a deep spiritual path that also is shamanic. And the idea is that shamans, yogis, martial artists, and Sufis, and a few more schools of study of humanity share that with us. Yeah, we have an ego, and many times we're behaving from our ego. And most of the times our ego is small, is hurt. And because it's hurt and because it's small, it acts without love. And that could be hate, that could be keeping a grudge, that could be just not noticing and stepping all over boundaries, or whatever you have. And that's exactly what we have been doing. We're behaving like asses on the planet, and that's why there's no more room for the other animals. So why just ask the donkey in me to speak to the donkey in you, when we all have so many beautiful animals and colored birds And I love that last part where it says, why just bring your donkey to me, asking for stale hay? And the stale hay is the behavior we have been, what's the word? Our behavior for the last 100 years, last 1,000 years, but the last 100 years, especially after this industrial revolution. And we're just, and also in this cultural staleness that we have come, the cancel culture, the suing other people culture, the we know the way, and if anyone else moves out of that way, that means we should sue them or do war against them or cancel them. And that's the stale hay. We need to change our ways, and we need to change our ways by stopping. We need to stop a lot of things, and especially stop correcting other people. We need to heal ourselves, each and every one of us, and lift ourselves up a little bit more. And we can only do that with more love. We had to feel our love, to feel love, 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 love. So we're encouraged. We feel safe enough to begin to open and say, what are my wounds? When do I behave like an ass? Instead of like pointing fingers. Everyone is pointing fingers. Facebook was created to point fingers. And again, all those people who write comments on Facebook that are negative, thanks for all the negative comments. I've received a few, not too many, but it always makes me smile. And I always want to send this back. Why just bring your donkey to me? Asking for stale hay, the same old thing. And a boring conference with the idiot. And that idiot is the ego. Why do you want to have it? Why should there be an ego fight? And I know the answer because I've worked with people, and I myself have pushed and pressed in many practices to evolve out of my ego and to actually fine tune my ego, because we really never lose it, but we can learn how to keep it in check, right? So why just bring the donkey to me, asking for stale hay and a boring conference with the idiot in regards to this precious matter, such a precious matter as love, when I have so many other divine animals and brilliant color birds inside that are longing to so sweetly greet you. I'll close tonight with a small poem that has, 7 lines, and each line has one word. Like how Hafiz laid out his poems in the page also, not just in sentences. God blooms on the shoulder of the elephant who becomes courteous to the ant. God blooms on the shoulder of the elephant who becomes courteous to the ant. God blooms on the shoulder of the elephant who becomes courteous to the ant. Become courteous, become love, bring out your purring power, bring out your love for animals, and bring out the joy that animals bring out. Thank you all who have been following Monday night's Ignite Your Wild. Ignite Your Wild is forming right now, and I will close by saying I'm grateful to all of you who come here and are here with me on Monday nights. I'm grateful to all of the Jaguar Path students who are in the Jaguar Path 9-month training. I see Amanda. Hey, Amanda, thank you for putting that up. We have just started the medicine wheel, which is 12 weeks, and tomorrow we're really launching. We did our introduction last week, but we're beginning the training tomorrow. So the jaguarpath.com, and you can see the link here with my beloved Don Francisco and Don Wilbert. And also the Ignite Your Wild and the Jaguar Path. We have just started a big campaign on rewilding. So our goal and my mission for the rest of the entirety of my life is to buy back areas that were of jungle that were cut down to make cattle fields. And also, my job is to go back into some towns and some villages that there used to be big industry in the 1900s, where American companies set up industries, set up a town, Food Inc., Banana Chiquita, some banana companies. Then they retracted their companies and left a town hanging with 1,000 people that had no job, had no work, had no way of surviving. So we have a mission to protect the animals, and we have a mission to protect the people. I hope my goal, no, it's not my hope. It is my absolute mission to help, and we will help. So we will be buying back land that has been used for grazing for cattle. And I'll say why, how it's personal to me. And if it's personal to you, please join us by asking how you can help, or join us by telling us how you can help. We are now looking at pieces of land, 2 huge pieces of land. One is 2,400 acres, and we are gathering them the energy that we need to buy that, so we can return it back, take all the chemicals out, and then rewild it. This cattle field was created because the President of the United States, Reagan, when he was in power, told Costa Rica that we will buy all the cattle you can produce. And Costa Rica, being a third world country that had no food for its people, it still doesn't, no food and no work, said, okay, let's cut all these jungles that are just jungles, and let's put cattle so we in the United States can have burgers. This is the truth. This is the way I see it. And there's no animosity around it. There's no regret around it. There's no guilt around it. It's just a fact that I found out recently. So I'm coming and saying, well, if I ate my burgers, and I did too. So if you ate burgers too, you're with me on this. I ate those burgers by taking away the land, the habitat, the homes of animals. So the burger that I bought now I have to pay for. So I'll pay for it by buying back this and taking out the chemicals that have been used, like pesticides, to kill whatever weeds and whatever they did. And basically just that monoculture of having only cows. When you have cows coming in the field and coming out is really good, but it's only cows always forever. It's really bad. And this big farm that we're trying to acquire is also a rice field and a palm oil farm. We want to take all that back and give it back to the animals. We wild it so we can have more oxygen on the planet, and give it back to the animals because they're better stewards of the planet. They really know how to take care of their environment, and they really regenerate the environment. Even a lion attacking the zebras or the water buffalo, they're taking out the weak, they're taking out the old, they're regenerating. They're moving herds out of the valleys so the valleys can bring up flowers so they're not all taken away too quick. The job that predators do, and the job that the smallest and on the bottom of the food chain, and the largest and the most powerful on the top of the food chain, they are keeping every one of us in the middle safe and actually alive. So it is time to give this habitat back to predators and bring it back to monkeys and everyone that it actually belongs to. So we're open to ideas, and we're open into creating a beautiful community down here in Costa Rica, as we believe in working together with people, and we believe that you guys are out there and you're allies and see the world with the same love and respect that we do. So thank you for being here again. Thank you. Ray Crist from Costa Rica. Ignite your wild. Find what's wild inside you and bring it out. May it be love, may it be wagging tails, may it be purring. I will see you here next Monday. And as of next Monday, with support from my beloved sister, Dr. Aline Crist, a leading environmentalist, I will be making this program a little bit more educational, and I will be offering ways that we can all help. Anything from what we're all doing back home in the United States and the Western world to anything that we can do in countries where we're working on reforestation, rewilding, and bringing back the beauty. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Much love, a lot of wagging tails, a lot of purring, and I'll see you next Monday.